Thank you. Hey, Travis. Just your thoughts on how returning home and having the last change here for 6 straight games might be something that is needed for your team at this moment with the way things went away from home.
Yeah, it's good to be back home, playing home. I don't think the home ice advantage is without the fans is different than it used to be. But I think it is when you've gone on the road to start the year and to come home and get a day with your family is important. And like you said, last change is really the only difference.
Do you have a different perspective on the game last night after some time to digest it?
No, not at all. I think exactly what I said. It's disappointing that we played the way we did in the second more so than anything. Didn't like it. We got to learn from it. Really liked our first period, and we got to build off of that type of hockey in order to win in the league.
Next up, we'll go to Ian McIntyre.
Hi, Travis.
Hey, Ian.
In the playoffs, you guys kind of had that false start in game one. And
Right.
You felt the messaging and how the team sort of handled that was very important, even though it was only one game in. Are there any comparables to that situation and what was required to this situation now that you're in? What's required?
A little bit. Yeah, actually, I talked about that today. I think it's a little bit, obviously it's different. That was playoff hockey, and your feelings are a little bit different, but I think just with the way we played yesterday and the loss and I think it's similar a little bit. Like, we need to play better, and our guys they were pretty upset last night with how they played, which they should be. And they know that they've got to play a lot better to win. But I think it is comparable.
Okay. How much of the problems right now do you think are due to just the newness of everything, the new season, the schedule, the new players that you're trying to absorb, new combinations in a couple of cases?
I don't put it on that. To be honest, we've just got a couple three new players in a lineup. I guess 4 with Holtz. Well, I guess there is. You're counting Ole, but he was here yesterday or last year as well. I don't put it on that. I just don't think we've put together 60 solid minutes yet, and to win in the league, you have to do that.
Ben Kuzma, go ahead.
Hey, Travis.
Hey, Kuz.
You guys were a pretty resilient bunch last year. You had three-game losing streaks, and you always had a way of kind of rebounding. I think back to the 6-1 loss in Dallas, and then you go into Nashville and score 5 power play goals. Just to follow up a little bit on what Ian said, I know there's new players and things of that nature, but is it no exhibition games that factors into what you're going through right now? The players have talked a lot about.
You know what? Like, it's easy to dissect it that way and come up with excuses. I'm not going to make excuses for that. Yeah, we haven't had exhibition games. Yeah, we've got some new players. You can make excuses, or you can look for answers, and I'm not going to use excuses, and I don't think our players will either. So everyone's on the same playing field. No one's had exhibition games. We just haven't played well enough, and that's the bottom line. If you don't play well, if you don't play good enough, you don't win in the NHL. And you can't have half your team playing the way they should and half your team not. We need everyone to play better, and certain players need to raise their game. They know that, and I'm confident they will.
Thank you.
Okay, next question, Farhan, go ahead.
Travis, you mentioned getting the last change at home. How much of a difference do you think that can make for the Pettersson line?
I don't think it'll be a huge difference, to be honest. I'm not going to hide them at home right now. I'm going to play them against good lines, and they want it. They should want it. They just need to go out and have good games.
I know that the best players in the world have slumps at times, and they snap out of it. When you look at a guy like Petey, you said you were going to talk to him at some point before the next game. Have you seen him to this point in his young career look maybe as frustrated as he currently looks?
I don't know. We can make a big deal out of it, or call it for what it is. Like, is he frustrated a little bit? Sure. Which is, I don't think that's a terrible thing. It shows that he cares. It shows that he wants to do more. He wants to play better. Would he like to probably change how he handled some of the frustration and not taking penalties? Sure. But he's still a young player in the league. He's learning, much like a lot of guys on the team. Every year is a new year. Every year it's equally as hard to win as the year before. And you're going to learn more as you go as a young player in the league, but I don't think we need to play him getting frustrated. Players do get frustrated, and that happens. And he's still learning, and he'll be better. He'll be better as he goes here. I'm fully confident in that.
Thomas Drance, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chris, and hello, Travis. Travis, as you look at Montreal and they've obviously gotten off to a hot start. What sort of threat do they pose to your club? How do you prepare for it this week? Well,
we'll prepare for Montreal today. Start our pre-scout on them today as a staff. Everyone knows they got better in the off season. They're a deep team throughout their lineup. They've got a lot of speed in their lineup, and they've got off to a good start. They got good goaltending. So we're probably going to say this a lot this year. It's going to be a tough game. There's a lot of good teams, and every game's a hard game.
And your clubs tended to get off to hot starts in your last 3 seasons here, but not always right off the bat. You talked about looking for answers as opposed to excuses, but what are some of the areas of focus that you'd like to see from your club when they hit the ice on Wednesday?
Well, I think they need to play their game and their style of game, our style of game, for 60 minutes. It starts with that. Individually, we need to have probably some better efforts out of some players. That'll help. And our special teams haven't been great. That's going to help. And we got to stay out of the box, and that's going to help. So.
Okay, next we'll go to some of our media friends following from Montreal. Jean-Francois Chamon, go ahead.
Hi, I just want to do a follow-up question to what Thomas was asking you. You just said that you've been doing some scouting for Montreal. They were perfect against Edmonton, 10 out of 10 during their penalty kill. Is it a part of the game where you're going to be studying a lot to try to learn what you can do to beat Montreal when you're doing part of the time?
Yeah, we will take a deep dive into the special teams, much like we always do. And obviously the 5-on-5 play. I think we have a pretty good understanding of, the skill level and the type of team they are. But obviously there's different intricacies within the system, and especially special teams that we will pre-scout.
Thank you, Travis.
Okay.
And we'll wrap up here with a few questions from Gemma. Go ahead, Gemma.
Hi, Travis. How are you?
Hey, Gemma. Good. Yourself?
Good, thank you. You talked about Montreal being a deep team. How do you counter that, especially when you've got 3 games in 4 nights?
Well, there's a lot of deep teams in the NHL. It just makes more of an emphasis on every line that has to play well. Usually when you play a team that has 4 pretty good lines, the minutes are going to be spread out. And on the flip side, we're going to have to count on every line to do their job and outplay the line that they're up against that night or that shift.
I'm sorry. And playing, it's the first time that you're going to face a team for three games in a row instead of 2. Does that work into your planning at all over the next week or so?
I think it's kind of a theme for the season. We played Edmonton 2 in a row. You watch the first game, you make adjustments and talk to your team about certain things that maybe you tweak or change or be better in certain areas. I think it's going to mean more, a little bit more as the season goes on. I think right now, a lot of teams, you're still trying to find your own game and your own identity and make sure that your game, your team game is sharp. And we're still doing a lot of teaching within our own game. And so it's a bit of a combination.